So hello everyone, welcome back to channel. I'm KJ and in this video I'm going to be telling you why Cubecraft is better than Hive, or I should say why Cubecraft gets more player than Hive. I also have asked a bunch of Hive content creators like Piglin Mafia, Joel O and our beloved Captain Y2A to give some opinions on this topic. Also, this video took me a lot of time and efforts to make, so if you enjoy please consider subscribing, and without wasting any more time, let's just jump into it. Now the first point is parkour. Now Hive is nowhere close to Cubecraft when it comes to parkour. Like Hive has this hub parkour and it's so long that if you die at the end you'll just rage quit, and when you reach at the end you'll get a reward, and then it continues with the same parkour but with one block jumps, which makes it even worse. And how many times can you play a single parkour? But whereas Cubecraft, it has totally capitalized on parkour. It has its own minigame which has two modes, competitive parkour which is pretty amazing, and there is normal parkour which has a lot of maps. And on top of that, it has lobby parkours, like 3 or 2 parkours in each lobby, and then there are many parkour courses in the hub itself. So Hive is nowhere nearly close to Cubecraft when it comes to parkour. Now moving on to the second point, it's PvP. Now PvP is an important part of any server, and let's just talk about it in points. First point is projectiles. Projectiles are an important part of PvP, and in Hive, projectiles just suck. You just can't throw them far enough so they don't get enough momentum to give enough knockback. Same goes with enderpearls and snowballs in Hive, whereas in Cubecraft it's vanilla based and they work just fine. Now let's talk about critical hits, because critical hits are a very important part of PvP, and the fact that they exist on Cubecraft but they do not work in Hive is just a very big drawback of Hive's PvP, because Hive's PvP depends on the vertical knockback. You may have seen those combos where players are just in air hitting each other, which may look very cool, but it's very difficult to counter for new players or mobile players, because PC players can spam click and mobile players just get obliterated. Now let's talk about the games and the game modes, and this is the most important point when it comes to the player count of the server, and the fact that Cubecraft has games like Battle Arena, Parkour and Lucky Blocks just turns it into the favor of Cubecraft. Why? Because you can duel someone in different modes without making a custom server in Cubecraft but not in Hive. And the games like Lucky Blocks and Parkour are just the cherry on top, and there are different game modes in Skywars, Bridges and Lucky Blocks, which is just totally amazing. Like you need a rank to vote for it, but sometimes people will do it for you, and it just makes the experience better. Now we shall talk about the gameplay experience. Now it's not a very major thing, but it's a very good thing to have. Now as the Cubecraft lobby has things like the hot air balloon, which helps us take the tour of the main hub, and the train itself, and that is pretty pog, not gonna lie. And the next major thing I'm going to talk about in this topic is the events. Now both servers have pretty good events, but Cubecraft is still ahead, giving us events like the Evil Bunny, Magic and Mayhem and the Halloween event, or RPG, whatever you call it. And the thing is, Hive events are based on how well do you know the Hive lobby, while Cubecraft events are based on actual Minecraft skills like PvP, pathfinding and horse riding. Like Evil Bunny was based on that, and the Ender game, which was introduced in Halloween, was better than the Ghost Invasion of Hive. The Sonic event was pretty amazing though, not gonna lie. Now let's talk about the opinions of the content creators. Now first of all, we have Piglin Mafia with 11,000 subscribers, and he says that I think Cubecraft has more players because it has easier games to win. Hive tends to pull the better players as a whole, and that makes the learning gap harder for new players. I think if Hive had more game modes like duels and bridge, they could potentially start catching up and maybe even passing Cubecraft in player count. And I do agree with him, because Hive players are very sweaty and they are better in PvP in general, which makes it difficult for new players or mobile players to compete in PvP games. But a lot of Hive sweats suck, to be honest. Now next up we have Joel O with 541 subscribers, and he says that I'd say more frequent updates would be good to get more players to come to the server. Also, as the Hive content creators grow, so will their audiences, which will in turn help the Hive get new players. And I do agree with the frequent update part, because Cubecraft gets more players, or one of the reasons Cubecraft get more players because they get frequently updated. And I do partially disagree with the content creator part, because Hive is already ahead when it comes to YouTube community than Cubecraft, but they are still behind in player count. Next up we have Y2A from the Y2A and KJ channel, which is an absolutely amazing channel. You should go subscribe now. And he says that firstly, Cubecraft has a lot more to choose from when it comes to playing PvP games or game modes in general. Secondly, Hive's PvP mechanics are very different from vanilla, which makes it hard for mobile players who make up the majority of Bedrock player base to win any games. And finally, Cubecraft gets more players because it's simply better than Hive. And that actually sums up this video pretty well. And that should do it for today, guys. And if you notice that this video was edited better than my previous videos, please consider subscribing, and thanks for watching, and I shall see you another time. Peace.